We'll start. Past six. Yeah. All right. Today is Wednesday, October 15th. It's 6:03 p.m. and we will call to order the master plan committee meeting. Welcome, everyone. We'll start with owner comments. Is anybody in the room have any comments they'd like to? Okay. Next, item A on discussion items, code of conduct. Lauren sent out, I believe, an update, but the bottom line is just a reminder, we all just conduct ourselves professional as possible at all times. It's not us, it's not meant for us, it's meant for other people. This is a good reminder, as we always are, to act professional and courteous and supportive of others, even if their opinions. Enough?
Thank you, sir.
Okay, next, sign news, we can update on the splash pad. Let's close the door. I'm sorry?
Good trial, I think.
Yeah. Well, this one's gonna have that.
It's, yeah. Under left, the hardest of it, it's unpredictable. And it's,
It's in size, it's
nothing about this summary.
no, it's got it. All right, splash pad update. So the good news for any of you who have physically had a chance to go down to look, it's progressing along per the schedule. All the site prep work has been done, rebar laid, demolition, the concrete foundation is there. The plumbing and electrical infrastructure work is progressing. That's the north side where they're doing that work. Everything is. He didn't have a problem finding this. He didn't have any problem finding this building, did you?
Hey, it's moving faster than I did last time when I didn't have the ramps.
Yes. All right, we just take code of conduct of some big splash pad on schedule. So a couple of key dates. The team from Splash Pad USA will be back on or around November.
Before was open, so the AC is working overtime.
Yes, it's working all the time. Anyway, November, on or around November 7th, they will be back. They'll be back to do some site prep work, especially on the apron, the outside apron. They'll then put down the final surface. And then they will put in all these splash pad fixtures. That's the 80 things that are coming out of the ground, slides and everything else. That process should take 1 to 2 weeks, depending upon weather, etc. So on or around right before Thanksgiving, the site should be ready for turnover. There'll be education on maintenance. And then sometime the first week of December is the target to have a ribbon cut ceremony. We're trying to do it in mid-November if we can, because there's some other events going on. That's probably not likely. So first week of December, just as I look at activities, Lauren, one thing, have we ordered or designed new signage?
We're already on
Okay, because signage on the back there is for kiddie pools.
it's actually on the board agenda, I think, for next week or
If I send a draft of that.
Yes.
Just to make sure.
we're waiting for the proof to come back from.
Okay, so we've got signage, but we're just super excited. It's just progressing along. There's been no financial issues, budget issues, change order request, any issues so far. So we're just very, very excited. We have one major decision. It's not a major decision. It's so the surface is gonna be this surface that they use. It's a hard surface. What color? For it to be painted. I'm gonna try to get out to all of you. We got some color sample palettes. but they're useless because it just, they're a picture of something that's 2 feet by 2 feet. You need to see it in the context of all the equipment that's there, trying to get that, out to the back of the vendor. So we want to get that out. It's good to go. Would have liked to have had it done, in the October, November timeframe. But everything is working great and we'll have it open first week of December, be exciting. So I'll pause there. Questions or comments from anybody? Okay. So that will be exciting. That will be our first project, will be the first major CROA finance project in 7 or 8 years. So that'll be the first of hopefully many projects done by this committee. So thank you everybody who's been supporting that, especially more team. Okay, kind of done splashback. Next, Mark, turn it over to you. Talk a little bit about where we are. See the fence up, the town hall, see the work being done. But, it's
That's not better me, but so they're doing demolition inside. So it's progressing. I think everything's seems to be on schedule as far as I can tell.
Yeah, they are on schedule. We had some subs that had to kind of switch around their timeframe, but it's not impacting the overall timeframe. We're getting progress reports from Click, and here's just some of the pictures from today. So the big pillars here. They were pulling out HVAC stuff today.
It's a lot of progress, so it's great.
Just as a reminder to everybody that per the schedule, we would expect this to be done sometime next July.
Maybe.
Earlier, yeah. Direction.
So, thanks. Okay. We did flashback update, it's doing great. 851, just saw some pictures, they're knocking stuff down. Being on budget, on schedule. Right.
Look at how you work.
Yeah, I'm thrilled.
It's progressing as good as it can. You show. It's reflective, it's just.
Yeah.
And then it finally opened up. Show when it's done.
The main entryway, this is where one of those weird pillars used to be, these are the meeting rooms.
Casey, probably. Not that I know.
There
So
was a,
please do CA, sir, that's what this is, the CA services report. Yeah, field report.
So no issues. Changing themselves and coming in, I think.
there will be at least one for the front door for replacement instead of refurbishment.
Yeah, that's okay. Alrighty. That's just necessarily. It should be done to manage everything. So all the way down stuff makes. There should be. And flesh.
Okay, any questions? Okay. Multi-function, court update, before we mark it, let's just. So we are going to build, design, and build a multi-function. Multi-function. The initial netting and initial fencing will be, figured out with the help of our architects and the subgroup. But I know there's people coming in and build pickleball courts, basketball courts, building multi-function courts. That's and the putting with Mark. General more about that.
Yep, you can go ahead and show the plan. We had a kickoff meeting with the design team, we talked through, some of it and kind of. But ought to be in it as a first run to see what fits. Obviously, they now drawn, they have this survey to understand the site. One of the things that needs to be dealt with the site that we knew about was the easement there for the, retention does an L shape, but that part of the L needs to go away. And it's not even over there now. So there may be an easement change when we get to redefine the property. It's really all the way on the back. But there's an L that turns up next to the CCD. That, that it should be able to be redesigned without that. Have that easement removed. So. What I'm considering as a process. Is, so they took a first shot at it. Just got this. They're gonna set the meeting with us to go through it in more detail, but what it clearly shows is that we can have 6 football courts and a full-size basketball court that is same size as one side of the K through 8 gym, including a couple of side bins, if you can see the courts top there. It's extra practice spaces, and then that rectangle in the center is a volleyball definition as well, everybody on that. There's going to be extra space on the sides. I was talking to them today as they're asking questions about the aesthetics of it, of reducing the pavilion because it is ridiculously long. So there might be room for some other smaller things on either side. On the right hand side of the top is, yeah, the idea to put some 4 square there. Yes, I don't know too much about 4 square, but it is a game with a ball and you can play it. So it's a good use of that space potentially. Off to the other side is a building that would have 2 restrooms, water fountain, bottom filler, and space for both crow's storage and an extra closet that's apparently necessary. And then some storage space for any partners for using that, using the courts as some storage for them that they can also rent.
IT closet courts.
So key card access, camps, and the dog park
It needs it.
needs to move over to an air conditioned facility, because that can't.
Oh, you did not want to follow.
Yeah, so it's not air conditioned, it keeps frying the system.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's about sorry for the one spot.
And provide some.
Yeah, so obviously you can see there's a gate that goes towards the dog park there that connects into the sidewalk that's adjacent. The pavilion will probably take a couple of days of it, but it's still huge.
Yes,
But
Mark, just a question that we're asking us here. I'm guessing the capacity of that is hundreds of people.
it's right, it's 200.
Yeah. Okay, so, I mean, we just need to think through how many people will be waiting to play basketball, or pickleball at any given time, and it's 50, 70, is it 20? And shrink that down, like it's possible.
When you see it, it needs to be 40 feet shorter on both ends.
Yeah.
It'll fit 125. So
125, so, but what's it the cost?
it's fair. That's 15 square feet a person, but in reality, we put 50 things in the rest of it. But one of them that's really shrinking is way out, I think, for seating and whatever else in there. Anyway, when it's shorter, it's it'll be just fine.
Yeah.
Where's, I'm reading through the weed seal.
Yeah.
Water seal.
It's, well, we, I don't want any exposed to until that, careful at the center, with that high piece. Some of our pavilions right here, for instance, the ones that are across from Cameron and the diner, those are actually the steel frame wrapped inside the columns.
Yeah, okay.
So that's probably the approach to do that, so the steel's protected.
The only thing I would say is whatever the attachment tells us, the brown level.
Yeah, so
We want to make sure
it's
we're very
yeah.
clear on how that's going to happen.
Yes.
In other words, a proper cut foundation of those folded tubes.
What is on the years?
Yeah, that doesn't get to
That's,
And
and
real detail, right.
just the price difference between the two options.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask, is, should we engage? I don't know if JDB can estimate it, or could we tell? That's what I was going to get along the way. That we should engage the leads to estimate.
It's sort of risky.
Part of that scope.
That's drawn, it's like-
I was gonna take a little bit further than that. We sort of look out. There's some type of response from their response to the kids can't climb up, but still want something that's a little bit visual, but also fair for them.
Yeah.
So let's get to on. So, yeah, yes, it's each day, people and slides everything. So anyway, I'm gonna have a little more definition in the size, right? You got somebody take a look at. Whether that's Kuwait or honestly, you've got a contractor here now, but
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
I want to set the issues something that I will, that's the ageless to throw a number at it. Give us something if that's,
because that's the cost, right? That's the barrier.
Well,
Anything else is, the whole.
that is variable, and I don't know if this is 800,000, 1.8 million.
it's all point, it's 5 million RFP.
Yeah,
How many square feet is the?
It's the initial time sign.
And I know it'll be smaller than this, but how many square feet? Do we think it is?
no,
Just.
Just running, 2,000 plus. Whatever the little building is.
Right, so we know,
It's open.
we know 851 came in at 270 square foot.
Yeah, that's actually.
this,
It's what the other papers. Yeah, so I mean, if we built that million for $100, wood, we could use it everything. A couple of years ago, we built. This is. So. Maybe you're. 125. Maybe. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
I, so we just got a lot of scope. And also. Want to do it. This. As much as possible. Okay. Yep, all right.
We'll get it drawn up and then we need to come back. We'll try.
Yep.
Explain there to look at, to conduct, but obviously the idea is really create less can be used better, not just works, but something that we can really use.
And it goes on the street and 15 feet.
So it's going to CCD already connected JV with our house.
Because I want to go up tonight on this look. So the parking spaces, there's no plain sidewalk, street to put in. Or something. Parking spots.
It's exactly the same as the dog park, if you see what I'm going.
Yes, yeah, okay, so it's, yeah, I did it.
That's what fits.
Okay,
The handicap spots, the rest.
Yeah.
You can take care of it all the way down, so it'll be that same rainbow, just.
same,
And then it'll flow across from it.
They may not, what's the finish on, what's the exterior finish on the building, it'll be somewhere.
I haven't got that. Something. Obviously, durable as heck. That's why I recommend for the metal truss.
What we had talked about wasn't matching the aesthetic of the rest of the buildings, and this is important.
Yeah.
Well, so it's easy to
So
do.
it's off on the inside, it's just restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a cool restaurant.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's a little elevated finish.
Yeah, it's obviously, look nice, match the main run of it. I can see the roof matches CCDD, all that, so.
COD, with the building currently, is that Clover land or CDD?
CBD.
It's fair.
Joe?
So that can make me comment.
Yes.
That's a question. Ruby. This is Lucy Clark. She's a football player as a Lucy's an expert in terms of the diagrams, mechanics. Places. Question on the diagram here, it's beautiful. What are the lights, right? get a price for lighting.
Yep, in between each, there's actually lights all over the place. I'll challenge them to eventually find the right spot, if it's too much or not. There is lights in between every pair and then lights on each side, so they're each set of two, lights all the way around.
And the good news is, there's no one lives nearby.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
Yes.
Like, this is planned with the recommended spacing between courts and the recommended low fencing in between the courts to prevent the balls crossing over.
I brought that, and then Lucy put this together, so here's a space in between. New fencing in every court,
Yes.
we're gonna do maybe 2 courts.
Every court.
every,
Every court.
Yeah, there's every one.
So it'll be 10 feet between courts, 10 feet behind the courts.
Yeah.
And then 8 foot fence on the outside, 4 foot fences between.
we can share that. with you. We can share that. Yeah. the sheet.
Yeah, I think this, one of the, I have pictures from Christ when we went now, their fences, the way their fences look, so I, the thing that I saw where KDB is worked on, I didn't see any interior fences at all.
No.
For the most part, they were just a platform.
Right.
Yes, that's not,
Yeah.
So I,
It's contemplated.
yes,
that's what, that's what we're putting out. Again, the measurements 10 foot width on the,
10 foot between courts.
10 feet between, right there, you can see the 10 feet, see that little 10,
So 10 feet on.
so it's 5.
It's actually about 15 plus 2, yeah, 15.
10 feet on the ends.
Which I guess that's a concern I have on this looking is between the courts, right? Is 5 feet enough for someone to play on those courts? And, you know, I know looks great to have 6 there, but is that truly appropriate for someone to play these with just so little on each side of each court?
These are pickleball standards.
These are, when we met with the architects, we specifically we started discussing, lights and widths and spacing. And what I directed them is put down what is the pickleball standard, right? And the basketball standard, making sure that everything is per standards. If we can't afford it, if we have to make it smaller, we'll make that decision. Start off with everything, including force being per standard, and then we will, once we get to the next step, we'll decide if we need to deviate. But I believe, and we'll let the pickleball club members take a look at it, get back to us.
Yeah, so
I'll show space.
our based on JVB's email, it says based on the ideal pickleball layout with 10 feet between courts, 10 feet behind the courts, we can get 6 pickleball courts and a full-size basketball court. Perimeter fencing would be 8 feet and match the dog park. With aluminum fencing, with the same style, and an 8 foot high as recommended for pickleball enclosures, and then between the courts have a 4 foot tall coated chain link with back 5 feet on each side, open for easy circulation.
Okay. It's, one person talking at the time, please.
Here,
Mark,
scroll out slightly. Trying to see what the dimensions are. Anyway, if we want to try to get this has 7 feet. Anyway, it's maybe I said it's 2 more feet on side basically.
we are gonna meet, I sort of know, we're scheduling a second meeting, kickoff meeting with the architects. We'll have a second meeting with the architects. Their schedule, just Mark, one thing, right? Their schedule, because they have to do everything to get ready for a permit. But their schedule times out in early January. And so from a schedule perspective, the documents we're about to bid are end of December, early January, for the construction piece of it. We'll have an estimate or several estimates beforehand, and then continue to tweak it so that we understand, and can present to this group and to throw out, a small, there we go. low budget, medium budget, high budget, whatever, we'll make a recommendation, based upon all the input we've got and if architects and we continue to look at different materials, sizes, et cetera. So, but then our objective would be, once we get the plans done, get it out, Mark, Alec, and anybody else, if you could start to identify which companies we would want to go to for the construction phase.
Yeah.
Okay, and anybody else in this room. So that adds, not to do in parallel, but company we will have identified, you don't have to scramble come December, January, February, who should we give this to? We will start to identify what we think would be a good contractor, and start dialogue with them. So that when we are ready to go out to bid in December, January, February, we will have a robust contract.
One comment on this, I'll have to say it's an extra couple of feet and see how that looks. But we don't have it as a final signature site, but we have that. Itself, we have a little bit, we'll try to hit.
Is there possible to lose some of that and like a home comes out there and slide from
That's where I'm saying that, I don't think it's necessary, personally, there's ways to reverse that and you get that done. I'm a little surprised actually that these can, get it. But even right now, that swale is even there, and it's shown on drawings and things. So I'm hoping that KPM will take a look at it. And, well, I actually just tried to get architects to do that, is to have them take a look at it and see if we just get straight. And if that needs made a little bit deeper, do something else to it. Just that portion of this, maybe a retaining wall anyway. There's ways to get that deeper to get this to work, get the drainage to work correctly. So average is full width.
So what about the tree stand? You're gonna be able to take all the trees out?
The trees are actually across the phone, so we're not even touching those. One's in
Just
the,
on this side.
yeah, I can look at them again, there's trade-offs with that. And as I can tell with anything else that's been done, I seem to care. That was actually one of my questions with Lot D, so indication of it. Anyway, we'll take
If they're gonna meet with the depth of tree, somebody would did that line in.
What?
But, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
the trees are gonna have to.
Yeah, 100%. That'll be that.
The survey team is coming out this week, next week. That's what this is.
That's part of the scope of this too.
It's not-
It's
Yeah.
not for everyone. You're able to trade the big tree for other trees at this place. We used to work around it, obviously.
Yeah, that's so to it, I wonder if, and I also look at, I'm hearing people, or it's gonna be just on a massive. Or whatever surface we have, so I wonder how we can soften it a little bit. Yeah, I don't know if other cores, I think you mentioned, maybe you're at the top. If there's any sort of softening that we can do, or,
Yeah, it was pretty cold, you paint it, we could put this on.
They're actually planning to do something.
Otherwise, it's just this, it's massive.
Yeah, the architect already struck. It's the color to this, and it's fine. Just one side, it's one side. The first report of like.
What about managers and anything else? Can we maybe see if the guard code has any thoughts to it? You're gonna have a fence with a pocket. And nothing around it.
Really interior fences over.
Yeah.
So, the answer is we could do something, these low planters coming out. When we shortened the pavilions, I still want this to have some mass to make it
Yeah.
formal, so if that was low.
That might be, yeah.
Built in, and that might be something that looks nice. So I'll suggest that as well.
I think this is a great start to the project. I think we've got been impressed with the architectural firm so far.
These guys are fast.
Yeah, they're fast. They're just good. Questions from the rest of the team here, anybody else?
Is there any other suggestions besides the width on courts?
I guess just one final observation, if you can pull it back up, looking at the building on the top left corner. It looks like the IT closet is facing toward 417 rather than the dog park. Does it make sense to have that door to the IT closet face the dog park, and then you can extend that out and not have that little walkway on the top side to get a bigger bathroom, a bigger storage, and a bigger closet for those two areas? Just an option.
Yeah, I think it'd be exercise, that whole thing could be any size we want.
Yeah.
That's the same size, incorporated into the fence.
Yeah. Well, I said it.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It's that building's $100,000 what time you done. Okay, that's $100,000. The other thing's $200,000.
Yes, sir.
$300,000.
Yes.
That'd be one question.
$200,000. You're $500,000. You haven't done anything. You haven't done for it.
Right, you don't want to get that too big. But
Well, that's a good point, Andrew. But there's no, yeah. You put the door right next to the cross storage.
yes, yeah,
Well, the other option too would be you could back it up closer to the fence too, if you don't want to make it that much bigger as well. So you have options there for that.
Yeah,
that was the first box they put.
good.
Roll that in perfect storage. To make it work better. Any ideas of how much space you guys might want for your facilities team? So this, any guess what's?
I mean, we would flip the partner storage to be the Crow storage and this be the partner storage, so we could do.
Everybody wants partner storage again, I know.
It's.
The partner groups that use the facilities, we try to give them all
Filled with suckers.
Sucks. So this may be some acceptable stuff or.
That's.
Yeah, and to see if you fit, and, but this is, we'll see once we get the estimates, whether or not we just shrink that a little bit.
We could use any space. Also, we'll need, a mop sink for any of the chemicals for the restroom. It's in there.
Just,
Yeah.
Right.
Grow currently rents storage facilities in towns, so anything that could, bring more storage to the site, lessening cost would be best.
No, we're renting from like.
What you got facilities after 50 months,
In the current plan, yes, as we were renting before, it was was closed, due to add additional pod storage for the closure of it.
thanks, okay.
We did half of it, so. we're hoping that-
It's not gonna
Reduce.
yeah, storage rentals.
Anyway, I will tell them that and we just. Stuff, okay.
Good. Thank you, Andrew, for that. Any other comments? Or move on?
One quick thing about this, in lieu of the screens, they also suggested, it's pretty easy to get metal panels that you can put any design on. We're afraid of that, obviously, so they're going to explore that as well to make it something more decorative, with some screens along by there.
So,
Anyway, there's lots of things we can do to.
well, I think this, but I wonder if, other than the Delta Park, which doesn't really have a facility and soccer complex here. Is there any, with like, see regular pickleball or basketball, is there any way to involve the community to put a fingerprint on this? If that's a graphic, something for.
Well, when I talk about, the item further on, first we got a lot of things from the community.
Yeah.
Right, we did the strategic plan. One of the items that's, two items from now is a liaison with it, that we need to have a point to the record.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's the natural place for us to potentially go, as the rec community also come out to the community.
Yeah.
But I think whether that's garden club, or whether that's pickleball club, for us to reach out to groups that are already in existence.
Yeah.
But it's great.
And more, the input obviously we need from all, really is, the aesthetic too, right? Like, all right, we're gonna go to Some people logo or whatever. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Maybe it's not that, because I think you want to be a little agnostic to that, but it's a grow thing, but I don't know, but it's the first facility that we've built. Right, well, it's fine. I guess it's fine.
You can learn about the.
Yeah, I got, yeah.
Like a middle of vertical turf field,
What's that?
are you needing something similar to the more community centric, like the seal of the artificial
It
turf
could be,
field?
it's not something, sometimes the things are a little bit more personal than because that's who we are, right? It's not a pickleball court, it's not a factory, it's got some.
Yeah, our admin's solid wall section for, we are doing it, but maybe we should, but people donate money for some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Androids or something, but add solid wall on either side of the entry to allow opportunities for signage or some spots there.
That's
For to your point, I celebrate, we look at something else there.
Yeah.
Same thing on the inside, obviously they have rules there for everything, rules of how to use it, but there could be a overall to get something like that. Sponsors, I do like that idea, not saying, integrate the, thank you for that on the other side. Yeah, that's perfect to me. And hope you also, man. So,
it's all back, swiping again.
yeah, it's those.
Yeah, we did, by the way, we just, math. I mean, again, you see, I'm just worried that by the time I'm done, it's just a fence. You gotta put what, 400 feet of fence in there, 500 feet of fence in there. There's 400 feet of fence in there, you count all the interior fences. It's, I just, this will come out, we'll decide, and if it's more than what we thought, then it's just gonna be a trade-off, because Jim's gonna lead some discussion, that's, parks enhancements, so that's not.
When it's decided, we'll work the other way.
We guesstimate. We, small group of people, guesstimated 1.25 million. Okay, for this, and, we're at 170,000 already. So, it will be, it could be a lot more, if it's more than that, maybe, we'll do a trade-off between, shrinking the size or deferring, East Village, North Village, updates. Or flip the timing, or we can get all the variables to place, right? We got
Just have to work in the numbers.
just have to sell homes. Good. Okay, all right, we're gonna move on. That was a good discussion. Thank you, everybody. Parks enhancements. I know, Jim, sent out, and you all responded, most of you did. I did last month, and, I'll turn it over to Jim to talk about the parks.
Yeah. Before we even get into that, I think I'll just give a little financial update on the capital
I guess.
side. Through September. So 229 homes at $184 million. So we've earned $929,000 for the capital fund. Or if we hadn't increased that, we would only be sitting at 298. So now included in the 27 homes sold in September were 3 in Island Village Phase 2A. So they're starting to close those homes. So it looks like they already have 51 of the 83 under contract. And many of those now have landscaping and everything else. So I have a feeling before the end of the year, on those 51 close.
So how many homes did you say have sold already?
The year,
Yeah, year to date.
229.
229. Okay.
Yep. So
How many homes are in phase 3? Phase would be one, phase 2 now.
phase 2A has the 83 homes and 4 townhome models. And phase two B has 252,
251.
251 homes in town.
So if we maintain the average of the 229, that's not within the village. Right, 229 year to date home sales is not within the village. And we know there's, what is that? You know,
It's only got 3, so it's another, but that's all in our projections on the funding side is what the capital fund. So the capital fund right now is sitting at 3.8 million, but the operating fund owes it 300,000, so effectively it's at 4.1. And that's with, we spent 200,000 on the splash pad. So we still got 400,000 to spend on that. We heard that there's already 2 change orders being looked at by Collect on the 851 building. And we'll see how it's come along, so how much, we're gonna end up spending on that. And then now with these courts. So we get some estimates of what they're gonna cost. It's not a thing to do permanent enhancements until, all that.
So let's back us up on the home sales. What's the full year projection for home sales all in? This last month, 2 months ago, this last year, it was 390 homes.
Yeah, that's still.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
so
Now we're seeing
acceleration.
Hmm?
You're expecting acceleration.
Just more of phase 2A. House. Third quarter, or fourth quarter, a lot of them sell. Now, October started slow. But there are 25 houses pending. But only 6 have closed this month so far, so at least 3 point. Doesn't mean that it's totally accurate. But the interesting thing is a lot of the higher priced homes sell quicker than all the condos that are for sale. So.
Yeah. What is the projected 12/31/25 balance for the capital fund?
If somebody could tell me exactly what we're gonna spend on E51 between now and then.
Assume 3 million, which is the number we had in last.
Yeah, no, we switched that. No, we're not gonna spend 3 million.
Okay, I did,
No,
okay, well, we're spending 3 million in the project.
so we're, let's say got 400,000 to come out for splash. And let's say we hit $1 million on 851.
How about we zone for? Yeah, but just
171.
just we do this sheet and we can send it out.
Yeah, I'll send it.
Yeah,
send it.
because
About 2.5.
We only got our financing yesterday, so, and we had our financing.
well, so this is. What I don't know is, it was 1850 for home sales, and I don't know how much that's for. You just did subtraction. Future home sale,
Yeah.
because I'm just, fine. And just for updates, because.
Yeah.
Right, that's after, let me just refresh everyone's memory. After, at the end of next year, if we just do, if we do the splash pads, we spend 4.6 million on 851. 4.6 on 851. Recognize that. That's what it says. And we spent 1.2 million on multi-function courts. We still ended up north of 1.5 million. If we did no parsons. So I was wondering, is that still a decent number? Right? Let's say 1.5, no parts enhancements. We just do the 3 projects that we prioritize this. 851, splash pad, and multi-function. And it doesn't leave a lot of time left over to do anything else unless. That's a problem. Okay. All right, Jim, now, parks attachments.
Well, I'd like to get those that haven't responded on the priorities and the ones, if you haven't looked at it yet, that did respond, I tried to summarize them. I'd like you guys to look at them and make sure I did it right.
Was there any, two people had responded, I responded to last week.
So it's one of these.
So the other ones,
Yeah.
so if you two the spot, but can you just put up, Jim, the chart with the listing of the projects? Needs,
Me, Jacob?
I suggest.
Yeah, I can pull up the, so,
Here, I got it.
Yeah, do you have it? So-
You sent it in the email.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's the first page.
so just take a look at it. Because what we probably, and I'm Jim, let's just hypothetically assume we have some money. How would you prioritize it? And it added to that list is your friend sitting next to you here. Because on the parks enhancements overview, it's also going to be the manage. Because that's,
Right.
that's not parks enhancements, it's the second part of,
Well, that's on the park, I think.
it's what it's.
That's at the bottom.
No, it is, that is, you don't have, yes,
More visible.
yes.
Okay.
Okay. So, thanks, there's people prioritized it, and then when we're done, right, they, at the next meeting, say, when and if we have money available, what would be the first 2 or 3 things you want? That's it. What is it? If not, but at least, because we've had this list now for a while, Jimmy did the first presentation a year ago.
Yeah.
To us, okay, don't have a lot of new information, so let's just at least have it, and we can change our mind when the money finally comes to spend it. But, yeah.
Yeah, I'm confused how people are filling this out or what, how we're supposed to order them. Are we supposed to base?
So this is what I
Yes,
summarized for each person that had sent it.
just to prioritize your list, if you have to pick one project, what would it be? You got to pick 2 projects, you got to pick 3. And we're just gonna see a consensus, because it, East Village, we said 3 out of 4 people's number 1 prayer, and it was also mine. So, 4 out of 5. Okay, doesn't mean we do it, but it means, right? And then we can go back and look at the survey work, and we can go back and think of the master plan. But to help us get ready for the work. That, and if we decide, this may be a year one, ready to do this, but if we have to make a decision on the maintenance, then we can say, okay, well, it's gonna be maintenance or it's maintenance of this, what do we think? And have a spirited discussion.
Yeah, and if we're gonna get quotes for East Village for a meeting room and bathrooms, we might as well do that same thing for us.
Yeah, as I've said repeatedly, the intent is have somebody design 2 designs, they look something different.
Yeah.
So one design, they're both the same, except for the style. And-
So we'll keep working on this.
Yeah.
And other things happen.
Thanks for your leadership.
I know it's part of enhancements, I know now the maintenance. I'm just gonna nose in baseball cap. Right? Because that's something that's.
Can you give us 2 of these? One is just for me and then one for everybody. So can you explain to me what's going on outside? But they have the fence and the field.
So the fence with this. So I met with, Dave Sharma, Greg Boyle, and Anthony Carlson, Dave Sharma, who's the.
Can you talk about they still, instead of suddenly we got one day this fence.
So they fenced it in for liability purposes because we're no longer maintaining it and the community was going on there and using it regularly. So for them, from a liability perspective, that wasn't a risk they wanted to take.
Okay.
And so in the meeting, we spoke with Dave, it was his peer that was doing that work. And so but he did reference that $60,000 investment. Thought he was talking about something else.
Yeah. So
And so we declared it up. And then I went and found the black once again, and I'm getting, like, blowing out. It's like, I don't know what that's about. So, I did send Charles a picture.
you got it.
Did,
Yeah.
okay, just the notes, the note that I sent you, I edited the use agreement.
I don't.
I did some to you, I'll forward it to you. So we got the use agreement that was previously in place, which is interesting because it was 2002, re-up to 2007, that Brendan just had re-up of us maintaining that space and then being able to run through Parks and Rec for the schedule. And so that's been a surprise.
So.
That was pretty much.
Yeah, so I'd like to, and this is where Charles and Lauren and I were talking, is there a page one where we re-up on that agreement somehow?
Yeah.
So that even with this sentence, which not terrible, right, we can at least put it under the purview of Parks and Rec, that it becomes something that we can schedule at our, interests. So it would be phase one, and then phase two, which is what we've been pushing is, can we develop that form of new baseball complex? Which, again, we did master plan, we didn't have any land, we put that on the back end, the equations changed a little bit, that's something that the school district is to be able to develop that space.
And allowing us.
Allowing us to.
But we got for leased land.
I think the agreements in the past have been $0 because we maintained it, so I think we would have to do the investment and then we would have to do the maintenance more. But I don't think it would be a monetary finish for a lease if we maintained.
Yeah, it sounded like they would have the right of first refusal for anything, and if they decided that they wanted it back, they get it back.
So we would want to have a short appreciation on the investment, but so that, and I wrote that in, so a minimum of 5 years and then 1 year advance notice that they would,
Which is not ideal, but that's.
we can start with 10 years, right? Like that's up there,
Yeah.
but I think phase one term, or for now. Is like, can we get it back under Parks and Rec so that it's not pain? We just lost down that green space.
I agree with about good summer price, it's everything.
So it's gonna get a lot more activity, which is probably supporting the East Lawn being, a priority here.
It's, that field needs to be recreated completely, it is a mud pit, it is.
The issue is,
It's
Yeah.
big huge field, it's meant to be obviously sport, but it's a mud pit, it's, doesn't drain. My son's out there with his son's out there, we try to practice, it is grass on top of about that much mud.
Yeah.
It's under.
But with the new fence, everyone's kind of, we're sad.
And no choice, but to use that more. It's not,
Yeah.
I mean, there's time to.
so,
If I was a kid there, they got to climb the fence and put in here.
Exactly.
That's what's right. If you're inside of the fence, they'll be stuck around everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. It's
It's a divide, it's not a building.
So. Yeah. I think the phase one is a good push, if we can get, push whoever needs to support that.
Would they allow access to it, or what's like?
There's 2 gates. There's a gate on Starling and there's a gate over by Lincoln.
If they just left open.
Well, I think maybe that would be.
So Parks and Rec needs to be able to unlock the gates
on the gates.
and open it up for the usage. So, that was part of the original agreement.
Yeah.
Right. This is about use, especially kind of flag football, but, the only good thing about fence line, now it's not all. It's actually all fence.
Was that phone? It's third party, third party.
Like football is a partner program. They use these fields, they use the other fields in town.
Okay.
I know that's the wrong and whatever purposes, right? It's giving more facilities and whatnot.
We'll discuss.
Yes.
That's- Okay,
Plus,
For now, we will get.
let's explain.
but to go into baseball, I just walking there today. There's no one keeping me out of baseball.
There's that new fence,
But that might still, the old days, just go to the parking lot and walk into
yeah, parking lots.
It's part of the last time long.
this.
No, they leave it open, you know, we have blocked location once, it's, you know, or if there's somebody else using that.
Okay, all right, so that's a big problem. And there's a couple of different issues, just to summarize. There's the long term. Could be, because again, go back. We didn't talk a lot about baseball, the strategic plan, because we de-scoped it because there just wasn't space. But if you look at the work that was done with the. What's that?
Nice, it's like,
Thanks, Larry.
Yeah.
It's like, they identified. Issue. Not an issue, but it shows some gas
deficient and
significantly deficient. It was ranked at the top of the deficiency. So, so that's long term, that's, $1 million, $2 million. But again, over the next couple of years, we'll have that money, it's collecting it, it has to prioritize against. Then there's a short-term use, and then there's the, we had East Lawn was a top priority for us anyway, but in the short term, if we're gonna need to go to the fields, do we make because again, we take that East Lawn, so it's a couple of things, it was building the bathrooms, but it's short term, spend $200,000 to get behind $200,000 to get the field.
Yeah.
Right? But such, there's a lot of moving pieces all related to.
to the work that Jude has done. Yeah, noted right for the East Line. The arena, we would, like we said, that's number one, like, can we say that today?
What we can say is that's number one, and we could put it into, we want to go do it, fix it next year.
Well, two pieces to it, one is the field itself, and two is the.
Right.
And is that a design effort, we want to initiate one small big course?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we could, and we, this group could do it. Whether we go.
Or before they're done, actually, as long as we know we have the funds.
Yeah.
Come
And
forward.
then we can go, we can all go to the.
So,
So we want to go do this, and.
good design. Change.
Okay, all right, excellent. Let's skip the rent committee and let's just, because we're on the same list of park enhancements and turn it over. A little bit about he and Andrew have done on the maintenance shed.
Okay, Andrew, you okay if I take the lead since you're remote
Yeah,
and on mute?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, you take the lead, and then if there is a break or anything, I'll add some additional commentary.
Please good. Excellent. So basically, we took the assignment of taking a parent view to see if anything needed to be done a couple of times. I think we eventually had somebody assigned to it. They left the committee, so Andrew and I picked it up.
thank you.
We visited with Lauren. I frankly have never been there before. I would encourage no one to go out. It's not a pleasant, wonderful place, but I'm sure it appeals to somebody. So if you will go ahead. So we'll kind of skip through this pretty quickly. Basically, we just wanted to give you some background, tell you what we think we ought to do next and what our objectives might be out of that. Go ahead. So if you don't know where it's at, it's kind of on an oddball shaped piece of property. Very limited in terms of the amount of property that's available and again, sort of oddly shaped. Sitting right next to it is some form of easement for Duke Energy. we're in the process, and Lauren, you have an update to that, looking for the contract originally provides what our responsibilities are, what theirs are, it is a shared driveway. So there may be some accountability that we have, and frankly, there may be some opportunity if we applied some pressure to Duke Energy to share some of the costs of fixing up some of the property. Go ahead.
Just back on the diagram, but that white, building is actually Smart City, right? What's that?
Yeah.
Okay, so they also have access?
No,
And they-
this is Duke.
That's Duke.
Yeah.
Does the Smart City not have space there? Or
If it's so, or,
a shed or something? No,
No, that's Smart Cities.
not a Smart City, or what?
Yeah,
Smart City doesn't need it.
it's a facility.
yes,
Huh?
and it's a garage, basically.
Got it, okay.
And they, one thing that we think they use it for is staging during hurricanes. So
Yeah.
again, we think they have rights to sort of take all property.
But it's our,
It's on our land. Yeah, so I have the association attorney pulling the original plats and deeds, so we can figure out what, if any agreement they have.
And because they have a contract with us or.
That's what he's trying to figure out.
because if they do, and it's coming out for renewal, right, the rent, whatever leverage we have, they have deep pockets, we don't, we can potentially.
Okay, so again, just some background, the shed itself is over 20 years old. In the relatively recent history, we've had, door growth of 500 or 300 doors. We've got a number of apartments that have come online. The employee growth in that department has gone from 5 to 13 over that time span. There is $12,396, 73 cents available for this year that was there for outside painting. Again, at least in my view, and maybe Andrew, if you want to kick in here, painting this thing would be like.
Oh, you say we're not gonna do that.
No, we paused that.
Unless it's gonna be graffiti and art.
It's also free roof repairs.
Yeah. So we do think that the Duke Energy right of way needs to be looked at because it is a shared driveway. There is a single porta potty on the location. I'd like to point out it's very clean. And there is no employee parking there. There is no public parking for the maintenance vehicles that are stored. And we have very limited storage and workspace. It's basically a garage with a small room in the back.
The whole facility is about this room.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe a little larger. Okay, so the reason we think we need to proceed, and I think we all agree, meaning Andrew and I and Lauren, I know Jacob had weighed in with me at one point as well. We probably need to do something here. It's probably not a great reflection on our community. And while again, it's nothing that people are going to want to invest in, at the end of the day, it is still a reflection on the community. So we think that there might be some projects that could start to be insourced, meaning we could save some money in the operating budget by doing things ourselves. The community has certainly grown since this thing was put up. There have been resident complaints primarily about the parking situation because the 13 employees now park along the street and do have lunches and things like that, that they have to take care of and they're out there. And of course, again, if you did go through the pictures, which I think will send us out, what you'll find is it's probably not the best place to inspire employees to top performance.
From my perspective, the last bullet is the one of the more important things, I think, in terms of attracting people. Of course, the residents come out across the street with K8s, teach a farm for my house every day, and that's everything I can. But employees, I think it's excellent.
Do we have nutrition?
It's a high attrition area.
So you have 13 employees.
Well, in the last year, between last year and this year, I have all new maintenance techs and maintenance director. Probably on our second maintenance director effective 21st, and we've had a new maintenance supervisor.
It's actually, we don't need to probably here get into all the
Yeah.
bases.
Like,
We've had some chips, many reasons, but you still have to provide a viable marketplace.
Okay.
Which is on those lines for this, right? If we're thinking employee morale and celebration as a whole, right? We're pushing our maintenance staff to use a porta potty. And I personally think that's wrong, that that's how we're treating those employees that try to maintain our community. So that's one of the biggest draws right now of the need to do something.
Okay, so again, our mission was a little bit modified after we actually visited the site and talked about it. But if we just looked at the current site, one of the things we should be talking about is upgrading the current site. And there's several different projects we'll get around to that might be appropriate. The rear of the building, the roof is sort of collapsing a little bit. It is not, it's not conducive to outdoor storage or storage of things. So again, that back building could be expanded a little bit. There is a little bit of property in the back, but it certainly needs some repair attention. We would use that area also to add a permanent bathroom instead of having the porta potty in the middle of the parking lot.
Is it safe?
Sorry,
Is it safe? Is the roof safe?
I don't know that we're qualified to answer.
Yeah.
We should check that.
Yeah, well, yes, that will be part of the project. And then the driveway is currently gravel. And again, remembering that there's a lot of maintenance vehicles and also those two trucks are fairly big. So I'm a little bit surprised we have any more problems in that particular. Paving the driveway is another opportunity.
Oh, sliding on was happened. Just don't have.
Okay, and then the last, talking about covering some of the area in front of the building and to the side of the building where maintenance vehicles could be parked right now, they're left out in the open and of course, not good for maintaining, the good vehicles. It'll also give us a place to store some more material, give us some more work area to in-source some of those projects. So those are kind of three separate things we could do. Go ahead and go to the next one. So the things that we think we need to really think about a little bit. First of all, Duke Energy, again, we don't know really what we don't know. Therefore, we have to figure out, do we have a problem on our hands at some point? Or do we have an opportunity? So getting that information, I think, should be done no matter what. And again, trying to determine what we can and can't do and what they're willing or not willing to do. We did have a little bit of discussion about what are the long-term needs for the maintenance shed? Because this shed is probably not going to sustain or support the growth that we're seeing over in Islands. So do we take a longer-term view or not? But again, right now, that area is not really conducive to any expansion. There's literally nowhere else to put things.
Clarify. So if you wanted to increase the size of that building by 50%, are you saying?
No,
there's
not
Can't
space.
do it.
Because
The size of the lot.
Planned out.
But there's also gonna be a small space up in Island Village Phase 2.
It's half of,
Size of that.
what you're saying is longer than that. Let's go back to the picture. For the Google map picture. So what we're saying is,
So the existing facility is about here.
up here, back there, okay.
We'll go to.
this is all driveway.
What you're saying is you just don't need this.
You can go a little bit this way, a little bit back, and you can't go any further this way because then you're not on the setback of the requirement, and this is a conservation area back here.
Okay, I got, so this is some room, but very limited.
And we can go back about, I think we figured out 5 or 10 feet.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, if you would, Jake. We can keep this moving. Okay, and then we want to talk a little bit about the planning alternatives. One is we just right now talk about and working toward what we do to upgrade the current site. Do we start looking at the future and say, should we be looking at a new centralized site somewhere, or should we be looking at a satellite hub and sort of satellite structure? Again, we'll get to what we want to go do in a minute, but to plant the seed, there's more to this than just saying that place has some efficiencies to it today. So you would go ahead. Okay, so this is what we recommend a group be formed to go do. One, look at the insourcing opportunities that are there. I think our maintenance supervisor has lots of great ideas and would love to execute some of this stuff if he had the room and the interior space where he could do things and save us some money, frankly. So So I think we ought to put that together for the board to say, these are things that we could reduce by investing in some capital. We probably need to take those 3 projects and we would want to prioritize those and then get bids on them, rough bids. To say, okay, now if we like Jim's problem over here, maybe we do the extension in the bathroom this year, maybe we do paving next year and that sort of thing to break it apart. So use those 3 projects as potentials, but then prioritize those once we get them. Go after this Duke Energy idea and see if we have responsibility and or opportunity. And then last, kind of based on that long-term strategy, have somebody focus on what is our long-term strategy? Because it sort of seems like it's a little bit of roll the dice right now and come as we go, which is a strategy. Or we can take a more proactive view and say, based on the growth in Island, what are we going to need to do there? Because again, like you pointed out, there's one facility, but it's probably not adequate for most of the Island.
You will fit a golf cart in there with no shelves.
Yeah. So why don't you flip through those pictures just real quick, Jacob? So these are pictures of the actual facility. You can see that that's kind of looking straight into it there. And you can see it's kind of like a garage, if you will, full of all kinds of good stuff, probably like most of our garages. Okay. This is the interior of the, again, this is where they do a fair amount of their work or store their tools. It is an inside room, but it is I think watertight and fine. If you keep going. Same thing here, a little bit in the back, there's a table and some things for the employees. Go ahead. This is the back area where the roof is kind of coming down a little bit and there's a small fence that sort of keeps everything together, and they use that to store things that are collected off of other work sites and
gasoline tanks and propane tanks.
yeah. Okay, go ahead. I think that's it. So that's our recommendation. Andrew, you want to add anything?
Yeah, just for the group, this is truly an information step right now, that looking at it, and we still need to acquire more information, but I don't think we have a real good answer as far as there's really no further land in Celebration to put a new facility or anything like that. So that's kind of off the board. We have a 2-car garage with a bonus room in the back. Can we somehow expand that in the back to put a bathroom there for facilities? And is that kind of the best we can do, knowing that the roof is coming up for replacement soon as well? So if we're talking about a block construction building, and you kick another wall in the back, reformat the roof, and that's a fairly cheap upgrade that puts a Band-Aid on this, but I don't know if we're going to do much better than a Band-Aid for the solution for a community. But again, more research to come as far as Duke Energy and what's there. And again, I don't think we're looking to put any specific funds toward it, but what is a solution that we can meet some objectives while mitigating costs overall to find that happy medium.
Hey, Mark, do we need the permanent spaces? And comment about that. The answer is probably,
the decision on this design with that. This gets by 100.
It has pivoted to now a design build RFP, which went live this week.
How big is that space?
well, it's the space I need, you want the parking, it's the parking lot there, obviously it needs to be parking lot. I think it needs
It's taken, when the staff are in the building, 90% of the parking at the town hall is taken up.
Is there land there to possibly try to use some of it? It becomes a trade-off of when it's conditioned space, getting parking for it, so there's a trade-off there, which could be degraded. This is probably one that might be a discussion with CCDE of random land they have in places. So for instance, I mean, power lines out in the school, there's things out there. It's
Probably looking down.
between the 3 gas lines that are going through the ground of there. Is there a way to build up this satellite?
Where's
It's kind of off in the corner.
School.
So when you come into Island Village, you have the tree and the sign there. It's
Yeah.
this way.
They also have some space, on the boulevard, there's a little bit of space on this wetlands, and then right across from the baseball field on the corner of the opposite corners from Celebration. So it's B51, baseball field, and then there's that space.
So I recommend solutioning on the fly. Is a good idea.
Just
So I suggest we do two things. One, Andrew and I continue working on getting budgetary numbers put together for this.
Yeah.
We can see if it needs to be incorporated or not. And two, we form another little group, whoever that might be, whoever might volunteer, to look at all of the alternatives with door projections going forward for the next 5 to 10 years. It's right now, are there alternatives that can go? I heard there's a baseball field that's mud that might be available. So
So, thought about Lot B alongside this knee building.
Yeah, that's the second one. He was saying, I know what you were just looking at, that's exactly.
We've talked about it internally, but we know that would not be a popular choice.
Yeah, we were, I mean, if we would, we were just looking at say.
There's still plenty of space for amenity. You can put a 30,000 square foot building over there.
You're sure he's smart.
Yeah.
Could easily put that structure there, the mirrors what they had there.
But this- but I think that's it for, so, again, right, this lots of moving pieces, sure, there's space of body. But now you get into, you took a bond, saying it's on the second floor. Say, okay, soccer, we're going to do that, something you want, I mean, the answer is, you wouldn't want a business shed there, you wouldn't even want a CDD bill.
Yeah, just go back to the recommendation, but I'll go back, was there a short-term recommendation?
there's, again, I listened to it. By the way, in fairness, since Andrew's not here, I'm going to kind of represent him a little bit. He and I are not quite in alignment on a long-term strategy. You heard him kind of say, I think it's going to be really, really, really hard to figure out a long-term strategy. Probably will be. I think we need to at least look at that. And again, even if we say there is nothing, at least we're saying there is nothing, but I think we need to at least explore it, because I don't like personally roll the dice planning.
Yeah.
So I would say again, two things.
Yeah, that's it.
Embolden or empower Andrew and I are in to go out and get some bids and do a little better job of saying, here are the things that we could do
The bond, and profits.
to buy us some time. And by the way, to make it a little more nice for the community and for the employees. And then secondly, have another group, whoever you wants to be on that. Sounds like there's a lot of folks here that have great ideas. To look at a longer term strategy based on the data of how many households we're going to have and what our projection of employees would be.
I think it's a great approach. So you continue doing what you were doing. We just highlighted on the recommendations to proceed.
So there's that.
Yeah, you gotta look at the, small Band-Aid, medium-sized Band-Aid, and large Band-Aid, right? That's, right? Yeah. The $50,000 fix, $300,000 fix, right? The look at those various things, I think that should be the number one priority. Okay. Lauren and Jane got, but anybody else who wants to help, just besides Lot B, is there any other land that has some shipping?
There's Lot B, and then there's Lot E, which is the swamp.
But if this is small, I think that's small, it's probably on that, right, that's right at the end of the.
Yeah.
The field too.
Yeah.
So where the end of the fields here are, out to where the entrance to North Village.
Yeah. Is that buildable land?
It's a swamp.
So,
It's just like, it's like, I'm like, no.
well, that's, okay, but that's, okay, sensitive time. Bob and Andrew, thank you very much. So, guys, let's hit one more, item and then. So the last thing is, it has been suggested by Omar, somebody, that we need to have the liaison to the record.
Yes, so Lakeside Playground got a review again. It's not gonna make it.
for another couple of years. It's not just the platform, there's additional pieces that are rusted, so we gotta start dismantling it piece by piece. So the rec committee met with Diane O'Neill, who was the project manager for Longfellow and for Spring Park, for getting those. She's a certified playground safety inspector and she does playgrounds all over this area. So they met with her earlier this week, gave her kind of a wish list. She knows the budget that's in the reserves. It's not gonna be sufficient for what the wish list is, but we're paring down
Service.
144 and change.
How much have we did, last time we spent like about 30 or 60, what did we say we were gonna go crop it up with?
Oh, we tried to repair the
platform.
platform, which would have been the prop up, but the big kid piece now needs significant repairs. That's,
So we should have any spent money.
No, not-
Okay.
we did a patch that was,
So we're gonna get, so we're gonna get some idea as to what they.
so we're working with her to get a true fixed plan and replacement for that park, but the board wants the master plan committee just to be engaged in the conversation, so you know where this is headed from a monetary perspective and planning. Yeah, this is a slow timeline. We're not looking to actually spend money on this until the end of next year, beginning of 27.
Okay, if there's a way, and let's shoot and try to fit into the budget, but give us what we would do if it worked.
What we talked about with her today is an amazing park, a middle ground park, and within budget park.
Last question before we ask the volunteer, the liaison, that person would interface, communicate with.
Rec committee.
Okay, so the request is for somebody sitting around this table who would like to nominate themselves to be the liaison.
They won't meet again on this until January, so it's not like a heavy lift.
Is the need to attend all recommended?
Yes.
Or does it ask all?
Just as called.
I think that, so just as I listened today to lots of things going on, we talked about the project has to be done, showing a Mark and the whole team has been working out. With 851 is in progress, how much it's going to cost, and what's going to get done to figure out, but it's mid next year. And so far, no huge surprises financially, so that's great. And we're making progress. We have an architect making good progress on the multi-function storage. So that's good. So right behind it, just what I heard, which then it's something different, is what we have right behind it is we're gonna need to do something for the maintenance shed sooner rather than later. And that's either small, medium, or large Band-Aid. I'll call that priority 2. Priority 1 may be the east lawn. And we may say, hey, listen, we're gonna spend money, forget the time for a second. But east lawn and maintenance may work to the top of the next items to working. So I want you all to think about that. So when we meet next month, say, no, I can't thought about it, And if not, we say, okay, those are the next 2. We'll learn more about what the Band-Aids are. And each one you can do in phases, but you do the plan at one time, the architect's work.
Yeah.
But then you say, okay, I'll do the fields next year, whatever. We won't get hung up on the timing, just the priority, right? So besides the big 3, what are the next 2 or 3 projects behind that? So that we can then, because it's one thing, you guys go do the work, and so when I did the work now, okay, well, now we think within the envelope of how much budget we think we'll have by the end of next year, that these would be the projects, and these projects would probably be, $400,000 to $600,000. I'm doing maintenance in each one, whatever it turns out to be. But we can do that. If as long as Jim keeps doing a great job, he's doing it. Engines.
And the buildings are slightly done at the same time.
Yes,
Since we feel it's an interesting one that. So like I said, let's cross from it's like, hell, I'll pay for it if it's done. In other words, can I put my business line on and love it? Sure.
Absolutely.
Not for the 400,000, but when you think it needs that.
Yeah, good.
Opportunities there. But it is,
Yeah.
what on earth is it's regraded. That field has been touched since day one, so of course it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Same everywhere.
Yeah.
Or artificial turf. That's actually what it was getting at, this garbage.
Yes. Gosh,
Which would say, remember this time, with slow and running.
and then just, that's it. Yeah, it's it. I'm like,
Maintenance costs, replacement costs, revenue, gratis.
second.
There you go, full size field away a little bit.
Yeah.
For everybody to use.
Okay, so before we wrap up, any other, because it's time, almost at 7:30. Any other comments, new topics to put on the agenda?
Just like our, we keep working the fields for Johnson.
Yes, that's, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's.
I missed the code of conduct stuff.
Code of conduct is just like, it's just a reminder that it's not in the street, but it's a reminder to act professional and courteous to your fellow committee members. That's all. Just be professional in your interactions with other community members, with management. Just be professional and as we all are in this group, but there is.
And don't work in the last couple of days.
Yes, yes.
I mean, I'm good.
Yes. Okay, thank you. It's, it was, good stuff.
Go ahead.